One of the biggest changes coming to Warhammer 40,000 11th edition isn't actually a new miniature. It isn't a new faction. And it isn't even a new rule. It's the brand new detachment system. And honestly, I think this could end up being one of the best changes for both beginners and veteran players. Because if you've ever looked at someone else's army and thought something like, that's cool, but I wish I could build mine slightly differently, 11th edition might finally let you do exactly that. So today, in this video, let's break down exactly what detachments are, how they're changing, and why army building just became way more interesting. Now first, if you've ever played Warhammer before, you might be wondering, what even is a detachment? Think of your army like a sports team, so to speak. The miniatures are your players, but the detachments, that's your game plan. It's the thing that decides how your army wants to fight. Do they want to be aggressive? Do they want to be tank heavy? Maybe you want fast vehicles. Or maybe you want it to be full of giant monsters. Maybe you want endless infantry. You can do all of that and more. Maybe even you want to charge headfirst into combat like an orc who just spotted something shiny. Detachments give you bonuses that encourage a certain play style. They don't completely change your army, but they absolutely change how it performs on the battlefield. Now, in 10th edition, each faction had a handful of detachments, and they worked pretty well for what we knew. But in 11th edition, Games Workshop is taking things much further. They've announced that around 70 detachments across the game. That is a massive jump, and it means players are going to have far more ways to customize how their armies play. That means you. Instead of feeling like everyone is using the exact same list, you can mix and match. Sort of. You'll probably start seeing much more variety. And honestly, I think that is a really, really good thing. But here's the really interesting part. Games Workshop has always talked about something called Detachment Points. Now, at the time I'm recording this, we still don't know every detail about this, how this system works. But because GW hasn't shown us all the rules yet, but from everything they have revealed so far, it looks like instead of simply choosing one detachment, you'll have a pool of points that lets you combine different detachment options together. You can combine different detachments. Think of it almost like building a character in a role-playing game. Instead of picking one class, you can mix and match abilities together to build something that's completely uniquely yours. That's incredible. Exactly how many points you'll get, exactly what everything costs, and exactly how much mixing you'll be allowed to do, we still don't know all of the details yet. So some of this is still subject to change. But if it works the way it sounds, this could be one of the biggest army building changes we have ever seen in literally years. Let's use an example. Imagine you're playing Space Marines, the classic, the boys in blue. Maybe you want an army built around Terminators, heavy armor, slow movement, big durability. You could spend more of your detachment points supporting that playstyle. But maybe you like bikes. You really like bikes. Fast attackers. Quick objective grabbing instead of choosing only one direction. You may be able to invest in both. Again, we're still waiting for all of the details. We don't know everything yet. But that's the kind of flexibility Games Workshop seems to be aiming for. And it is very good for new players and older players. Veteran players, I should say. My mistake. The same thing applies to orcs. Maybe one player wants massive mobs of boys. Another wants giant walkers. Another wants vehicles everywhere. And maybe someone really likes beast snagas. Even though they're all playing orcs, their armies can feel completely different because of the detachments they chose. And that's something I really like. Because one of my biggest fears with games like this, everyone is eventually running the exact same army list. But with this, there's more customization. Usually, it means more creativity. And more creativity means more fun. And that's why we play Warhammer. I also think this is going to help beginners, as I said before. Now, at first, this might sound backwards because all of this sounds overwhelming. Because more options make things maybe confusing. Maybe. But if you actually think about it, the opposite could happen. Instead of feeling forced into one correct way to build an army, you can slowly experiment with the detachments. You can try something. Maybe you play a few games. See what you enjoy. Then make a small change. And that's how you build your army. You're learning your own play style instead of copying someone else's. And I think that's a much more enjoyable way to learn Warhammer 40,000. Of course, there is one possible downside to all of this. Balance. Whenever you give players dozens and dozens of different combinations, someone is going to eventually find something incredibly powerful that will surpass the competition. That's just how competitive games will work. Some combinations will probably end up stronger than others. Games Workshop will almost certainly have to adjust things over time to try to balance things out. We've seen them do balance updates before, so I wouldn't be surprised if detachments receive changes after launch as well. That's just part of keeping a game healthy, keeping things balanced. As a beginner, this is honestly one of the changes I'm most excited about. Not because I'm trying to build the strongest army, but because I like having choices. I don't want my army to look exactly like everyone else's. I want to build something that feels different. I want something that feels like my army, my strategy, my playstyle. And from everything Games Workshop has shown so far, that's exactly what it feels like. 11th edition looks like it's giving players a lot more freedom to do exactly what I just mentioned. So, the bottom line, detachments were already an important part of Warhammer 40,000. But in 11th edition, they're becoming much more flexible, much more versatile. Around 70 detachments are being added, and a brand new Detachment Point system. Far more customization. We still have a lot to learn before launch, but if Games Workshop sticks to the landing, army building might end up being just as fun as actually playing the game. Or at least that's the hope. If you guys are following everything leading up to 11th edition like I am, subscribe because I'll be covering every reveal, every rules update, even after Armageddon releases. Every announcement will be covered here. And everything we learn about Armageddon is also being covered here. My name is Zach. You're watching Warhammer Zone. Thank you guys so much for watching. And hopefully I will see you guys next week in my next video. If I don't, I hope to see you soon. And if you like this video, subscribe. Peace.